So the next topic that we're going to discuss is the power of vulnerability. Vulnerability plays a very important role in our relationships, in the way we relate with each other, engage with each other. And so we'll just hear a few thoughts from Pastor and Auntie Kamala on this. The first question for me would be, how do we be brave and courageous enough to open up and share if we're going through a difficult time, right? Because everyone, like for the most part, most people around us are willing to listen, are willing to hear us out. But how do we take that first step when we're going through a difficult time to share and be open and vulnerable?
I don't think it's automatic.
Right,
The ability to be vulnerable, make yourself vulnerable, and to be open, transparent, doesn't happen overnight. It starts in stages, with people. That's why initially there is a very platonic relationship where you know each other. Then you move on to a stage where you're exchanging information about yourself. Then you move on where you're sharing your feelings.
right,
This is what I feel about what I'm going through and all that. Yeah, and then is when you, during these three stages, the young person is weighing out how dependable you are or
right.
how interested you are in what they're saying. So if you kind of get the feeling in the first two levels itself, you are not the kind of person who's going to be willing to give them time or be able to be understanding, and you're really not truly interested in what he's saying, he's not going to be open.
Right,
And I'm not going to be open with someone who's already, the first sentence itself, either looking at the phone or looking at the watch,
right,
you know. And that will, even though they are non-verbal, but I get when I'm talking to him, okay, when I'm beginning to share, for example, beginning to share, and he'll say, okay, fine. And then if he's looking at the phone or looking at the watch or something, I'm already decided that he's not interested in what I'm saying. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be open about it. Okay, so the young people also need to feel that at the same time, openness is a very, very mandatory thing. I would say that. It's not a choice. You really want to strengthen a relationship because otherwise everything works on assumptions.
Right,
I assume that this is what is happening. To clarify, even though you're not getting the proper response for your clarification, it's better to clarify.
yeah.
At least it's better to be open and talk about it. And that's what I feel. I don't know.
People like to be open.
Mm,
But again, it starts from the childhood. When a person opens up, if the response is something different, don't talk, don't say it, it's not nice, he closes.
yeah.
So he grows up. And I think people are open when they know the other person is interested in them.
Right,
Only then you're open. Number three, people are open with you if they trust you. But if they're constantly being hurt by what they have shared with you, then they won't open. And today, people just keep it to themselves. They can't trust anybody because people have exploited what they have said, they have misinterpreted, so they just keep quiet.
right.
So, to what extent they can open up is very important. And I think not everybody is open with everything. There are certain things they will say certain people, certain things to certain people.
Right,
I have not come across anyone who will open everything to them,
right.
because it depends on whether that person will take it or whether the person will accuse me of that, will turn it against me. So just keep quiet. So right from childhood is we need to encourage people to be transparent. And even if they fail, we should encourage them to be open about the mistakes, open about the transparency.
Right,
So there is a level of transparency.
right. Are we becoming a generation that is struggling to just communicate in general? Is that what you see?
I they're communicating, but they're just not communicating to the parents.
Right.
And when we really talk about young people, they're very open. Why are they not afraid to tell their friends things that they're not able to tell their parents?
Right.
Again, when it comes to that, you're saying because there are two ways to look at it. If you're looking at the parents' point of view, they have reacted. The moment my son comes and says, Ma, guess what? Oh, you failed there. Oh, you know, the assumption is immediately
Yeah.
because of the reaction, they probably withdraw. That's one thing. Another thing is also, like we discussed earlier, where when you share, when you're open, you are not, some parents, you're not going to get the same response like a friend. Friends, at the end of the day, will tell you, it's okay. Do anything you want. Come when affected. But as parents, because they love their children, their openness is going to have consequences in some way,
Right. Right.
whether it's good or bad.
Right.
Okay? So many times young people are afraid of the consequences, which could actually work in their favor. To really think about it.
Yeah.
If it works in your favor, you might get the right thing to do, right sense of direction from parents, but you will not get from your parents.
Right.
The children, they choose where to be open about. But there is power in vulnerability. I think the whole topic is about that.
Yeah.
Right? Is it openness comes from self-acceptance. I feel that, you know, if I'm confident about who I am, then I'm not afraid to tell people who I am.
Mm.
If I'm afraid to tell people who I am, then I put on a facade, I put on a mask,
Right.
and I withdraw. And I only will expose the things that will get affirmation and appreciation,
Mm.
and I withdraw to myself.
Right.
So that's something that we really need to understand.
So so this vulnerability, it's connected to shame, and the shame is connected to your identity. So
Yes.
I think it's full circle. It all comes back down
Absolutely.
to your identity and it being strong in Christ, it being strong in who you are and your beliefs and your values. I think the second thing, and I think this is uh, more of a trend that we're seeing. I think it's been there for so long, but we're really noticing it now that young men, I think globally and even in India, in our city, really do struggle to open up, struggle to be vulnerable, struggle to share what's on their heart. Um, be great to understand if you've seen this happen, if you've noticed it, and what your thoughts are about that as well.
Men normally don't share, they keep it to themselves because men think they can handle by themselves.
Right.
Secondly, we have been taught men don't cry, but that's a lie.
Yeah.
Men swallow the tears. Three, they'll say, India, you know, even husband, wife, she's inferior, what she can do. Or she's limited. Why burden her? The positive side of it. Why tell her? So they just leave it. Among their friends, they won't have too many friends. At least one friend whom they'll share, fully knowing that's only between them. So men don't open up so easily. Men keep it to themselves, unless the friend keeps on asking, "What is bothering you? What is bothering you? What is bothering you?"
Right.
Sometimes the more they ask what is bothering, that itself is bothering.
Right.
So I think they don't normally talk. They don't normally say. They just put on a brave front. But I think, you know, men are made different.
Men and women are made differently. Like you said, we said that women are not afraid to ask for help. Always. You know, you'll find that just when you're on the road, you're driving, somehow men are afraid to ask for help. That's difference there. You know, I'll say, okay, why don't we push the window down and ask for help, ask for directions? And he will say, wait for some time. I can handle it on my own.
Right.
And then, you know, when you know you've taken a wrong turn, there is. It's a very normal, it's a very gender thing, I think. And on top of that, in our own culture, we've been taught that men are, you know, the ego is that I am the man. I mean, you're the man. You should be able to handle it. It's been ingrained into our society from childhood. He's a boy child.
Right.
This boy child. Boys are the thing. You're a boy and you're doing this. Don't be like a girl.
Right.
Don't be a sissy like a girl. This has been ingrained into the boys. So the boys grow into men thinking that I'm there. Okay, I have to handle it all. I cannot show my vulnerability. I cannot show my weakness. It's a show of, uh, weakness rather than accepting it. It's a strength. So that is, I think, from our culture itself, it's become like that. So they're afraid to ask for help. And but many times what happens in our general openness, when we are open, many times our openness has been exploited. So I think that is what, once I get open, I'm open to you. And I know that you have talked about it outside and you're now taking advantage of my weakness, even in a marital relationship or with parents or whatever. I withdraw. And I said, okay, this is it. But you still have to get it out. And you end up unburdening with the wrong people. That's what happens many times. You think they're going to accept you. You end up sharing and becoming vulnerable, open, trusting with someone.
Right.
Rather than the people who actually love you and want to help you.
Right.
That's a danger that young people have to really watch out for.
Right. Right. And so, how do you think that hurts men as well, right? Because that can get tiring to have to sort of carry a lot of those burdens by themselves. What are some things as a community that of young people that we can do to support them? How can their spouses support them, or how can their parents support them better to be able to give them that space and encourage that vulnerability from men as well, right? Again, because of just the rising number of suicides that we see in young men, how do we really tackle this problem?
As I said, men are made different, women are made different. A man falls, he'll get up and say, I fell down. When a girl falls, a woman falls, she'll say, see the wound, see how I fell, where I fell. They go into the thing. And they would like to have a conversation around it. Men do not want to have that kind of a conversation. Men don't want others to feel sorry for that. Yeah, right? But women are made different. Now, how to get it out of man is to say, hey, you're looking different. Is anything troubling you? Right? If you have not been a friend to them, then they won't share. If you're only an acquaintance and if you have not listened to them before, they are not comfortable in sharing, they won't share.
Right.
So I would say, don't only look for those weak moments where you ask them questions. In their good moments, stand with them and say, wow, I'm proud of you,
Right.
man, good. Only then they'll open up.
And
Got
also,
it.
it's good to start in childhood. To tell your teenage boys and the boys, it's okay to tell mama. Now, again, the whole thing of they being not open is that they're afraid of reacting. I'm afraid of hurting my parents. I'm afraid of letting them down. And boys especially feel a lot sensitive to this. As much as it looks different on the outside, girls are more confident to accept and say, I failed, that's it. But boys will look at a lot of things. They'll say, what have I done? Have I let my parents or did I measure up? So it's okay from childhood to tell a boy to accept the failures. It's
But
okay.
you see, boys and girls both open. But boys know to whom to open. If they want certain things, they'll open up with the mother. Certain things they'll open up with the father. They are open. But to what extent, to
Right.
whom they should open?
Right.
If they know that this will upset the mother, they'll come to the father. And the father has to give a different version altogether.
Right.
So the reaction matters, the relationship matters.
Right. Right.
Surprisingly, that point is so valid because there are boys, right? And at the boys' openness, it's the fathers who can help them. much better than the mothers can. No, I have both. I have a daughter and two sons. So I always sometimes I've even felt hurt initially. He said, I do everything for these guys. You know, when it comes to sharing, it has to come, whether it be a girl or whatever, the message comes from him.
Right.
Guess what? I have something to share with you. I said, he was with me the 4 hours. He never opened his mouth and said anything.
Yeah.
You know? Then I asked him, how fair is it? One of your 4 hours you are with me.
Yeah.
10 minutes you walk into Dada's office and everything is out of the bag. You know?
Right.
And he says, I know you'll be hurt. I know you'll be this. So they are, I didn't want you to feel bad, Mama, so I had to share. So they're more confident. Men are more confident with men.
Right.
That is also very,
Yeah.
really
So the
something
key
that
then
you
is
can.
good
Yes.
male friendships,
Yes.
great father-son
Great
relationship.
father-son relationship is
Building
a very,
that.
very important
Yeah.
thing.
Mm.
There is a stage when they will be all mama. By the time they are 10, 11, it's fully Dada. When
Right.
my grandson comes home, he says, this is boys' time. And he takes his grandfather upstairs. So none of the granddaughters can go or be there. This is boys' time. So when he comes in our car, he takes the front seat. Boys in the front, girls at the back. It's very, very clear. And he will
Right.
probably tell him. I think that is something that we need to help men.
Yeah.
We need to have strong male images for them. You know, the figures. Really good, strong father figures in
Right.
their lives.
But I think you see what the social media has also destroyed our relationship, the openness. See, you pour out your heart in WhatsApp, you write a long message, and the reply is, that's all. Now, I'm sick of this. I don't send any emoji. I don't understand. You send a message, something like this comes. I don't know whether they are thankful or they're saying, enough, don't send anything. I can't handle this. I rather talk to that person directly. I tell her, you see, you write long sentences, and first time there is a lot of spelling mistakes. And we have lost that thing to talk to people,
Right.
to be open. So I think social media also has come in between.
Right. Of course.
And everybody is open, right, about everything in social
Right.
media.
Yeah. I was
You
also
know?
going to ask that. How much is too much
Yeah.
information?
The number
Right?
they want,
Yeah.
you know, you come to a point, you're talking about openness, you're talking about how to help them to be open. We also need to help them to say how much should they be open
Right.
about whatever that is. And today, everything is about being open. Everything is in the open. What they do in private is in the open.
Yeah. But that's also a very carefully curated
Yes,
openness.
very
But look at all of Facebook.
Yeah.
The Facebook is not for us to give our information, to
Right.
see what the other family is doing.
yeah, everything is manufactured,
Yeah.
curated. Information is what you get on the social media, and young people fall for it and think that is openness.
Mm.
Okay, my life is an open book.
I think if you want to go back to openness, cell phone should be kept aside for some time.
Yeah.
There should be a conversation with the family,
Mm.
eating together, talking together, some common topics.
Right.
And I think we should start from there. Go back to the old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think God encouraged openness with Him. I think that's the place that is absolutely safe for us to be open.
Mm.
And then, because I like what David says, search me, O God, and see if there's any wicked way in me. The constant searching, constant searching and expressing. And he wasn't afraid. If you really look at David's life, he wasn't afraid to admit that he was wrong. I
Yeah.
am a sinner. Create in me a clean heart, oh God. You know, renew a right spirit within me. He kept asking, he kept being open. And sometimes I said, no wonder God called him a man after his own heart. He wasn't perfect,
Yeah.
but he was very open and willing to change.
Mm.
I think that's something that we really need to learn from God's word. That's all.
Yeah. So I think one thing we've established is strong father figures. A good male role model is important to encourage vulnerability in young men, right? And so, what happens for young men who
To not have-
unfortunately don't have a father or are raised by a single mother, or even potentially might have a neglectful or absent father, right? Even in that case, how do we help them? How do we support them? Where do they go for support?
I think it is tough, but I would I know this is a youth program, but then everybody will watch. But I want to tell those who have families, open your home
Mm.
for those who want to be comfortable in your house. They would like to have a family where they can walk in and be a friend. See, I strongly, God blesses you, not that you'll admire your blessing.
Yeah.
God blesses you that you'll bless others. I always believe this. Why has God given a house for what? Why has God given children for what? Why do we want a job for what? We only look at ourselves, but keep your home open. There are many who will come and say, will you be my father?
Yeah.
Will you be my mother? The very statement they make, I know where it is coming from. There is something that is missing. You know, there are young people who come and say, they, Appa, they call, which is daddy. The moment they call, I know what it is. But then I don't want to assume. So I believe God was blessed to keep your homes open. And for those who do not have a good role model or don't have, you have not seen your dad or you miss your dad, but whatever legacy is left behind, focus on that.
Mm.
But if you have not had a good role model, don't come to a place where you said everybody is like that.
Yeah.
There is a heavenly Father who cares for you. He said, I love you with an everlasting love. Even, David, the Psalm 27, even if my father and mother forget me, yeah, Lord, you will not. The places when the sons were called, he left David in the field. It's only Samuel asked, is that all?
Yeah.
So I think David, from that pain, he's talking,
Right, right.
right? So I think we need to tell them there is a father who cares for you, who loves you, and bring them back to that place.
Mm.
So I would say two things. One, have a relationship with them that they will not miss out on the
Mm.
truth. There are many who do not have a good role model, find it difficult to pray the Lord's Prayer,
Our
our
Father
Father
who
who
art
art in
in
heaven.
Mhm.
So I think we need to again be sensitive and be willing to help them, accept them, and give them a good, firm footing.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I think Jesus also said that it is our duty to care for widows and orphans.
Yes.
And it's so important for us to remember that as part of walking our daily Christian walk. And thank you so much, Auntie and Uncle. I think one of the most important things that we're learning from this today is that vulnerability is powerful, that we should open up, but we should also be wise about that.
Yeah.
Uh, we should use our wisdom in that, and that we should also be a safe space for the people around us, to provide a space for them to come and share with us. Especially for the young men, if there's any young men listening, reminder that you have a heavenly Father, you have a good Father, um, and that you should never be ashamed to talk about what's on your heart to the people who are closest to you and the people who care about you.